Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village, lived a woman who was kind but very lonely. She had a comfortable life, a cozy home, and a garden full of flowers. But her heart ached for one thing she didn't have: a child. Every single night, she would look up at the stars and pray with all her might, wishing for a baby to love and care for. One day, filled with hope, she went to visit a wise old woman who lived on the edge of the woods. She shared her deepest, most heartfelt wish. The old woman listened with a gentle smile and then handed her a peculiar-looking seed. "Plant this seed with care," she said softly, "and your wish will come true." The woman hurried home, her heart fluttering with excitement. She planted the seed in a beautiful flower pot and watered it every day, her patience and hope pouring into the soil. Before long, a magnificent flower began to grow, its petals of vibrant color she had never seen before. Slowly, beautifully, the petals nestled inside was the tiniest, most perfect little girl imaginable. She was no bigger than a thumb, so the woman lovingly named her Thumbelina. Thumbelina's world was a miniature wonderland. She slept in a polished walnut shell, used soft rose petals as her blanket, and drank sweet dew from the leaves of flowers. At night, her voice was like a tiny silver bell, and birds would gather silently by the window just to hear her sing. She was happy, she was cherished, and she was safe. Or so she thought. One dark night, as Thumbelina slept soundly by an open window, a large, ugly old toad crept into the room. "She'll make a perfect wife for my son," the toad croaked to herself. Without a second thought, she snatched poor Thumbelina and hopped away to a nearby river. She placed the terrified girl on a large lily pad, trapping her in the middle of the water. Thumbelina wept, her tiny tears falling into the stream. The thought of marrying the toad's son was unbearable. Hearing her sobs, the little fish swimming below felt a great pity for her. If all working together, they nibbled and bit through the thick stem of the lily pad until it broke free. The current jet to carried Thumbelina and her leafy boat far away from the toad and her dreadful plan. After drifting for some time, her lily pad reached dry land. A shiny beetle, flying by, spotted her and was captivated by her beauty. He swooped down and carried her up into a tall tree to show her off to his friends. But the other beetles were not impressed. "She's so strange. She has no wings," one buzzed. "And only 2 legs," chirped another. Embarrassed by their mockery, the beetle callously abandoned Thumbelina, leaving her all alone once more. She spent the long, warm summer wandering through the meadows, drinking nectar from flowers and rainwater from leaves. But as summer faded, winter arrived, cold and harsh. Thumbelina, shivering and weak, nearly froze in the snow. Desperate, she stumbled upon a small hole under the ground, the home of a kind field mouse. The mouse welcomed her in, gave her food, and kept her warm. Thumbelina was so grateful. But the mouse had plans of her own. "I have a friend, the mole," she announced one day. "He is very rich and lives in a grand tunnel. You will marry him." Thumbelina's heart sank. The mole was wealthy, yes, but he detested the sun, the flowers, and everything that brought her joy. She felt trapped, with no strength left to escape. One day, while exploring the dark tunnels, Thumbelina discovered a swallow, lying cold and still. Everyone thought the bird was gone, but Thumbelina felt a faint heartbeat. All winter long, she secretly cared for the swallow, bringing him crumbs of bread and keeping him warm with soft moss. When spring finally returned, the swallow had regained his strength. "Thank you for saving me," he chirped. "Fly away with me to the warm, sunny lands." Thumbelina was tempted, but she hesitated. She didn't want to hurt the field mouse who had saved her from the cold. Soon, the day of the wedding was announced. Dressed in her wedding clothes, Thumbelina stepped outside one last time to say a final, sad goodbye to the sun and the blue sky. Just then, she heard a familiar flutter of wings. The swallow had returned for her. "Come with me," he urged gently. "This is your last chance." This time, without a second of hesitation, Thumbelina said yes. She climbed onto the swallow's strong back, and together they flew high into the sky. They soared over mountains and seas, over lands of gold and green, until they reached a place where it was always summer and flowers bloomed forever. There, in the heart of a magnificent white flower, lived a prince. He was small, just like Thumbelina, and his eyes shone with kindness, too. He welcomed her not as a prize, but as an equal. The prince gave her a pair of beautiful, transparent wings of her own and placed a tiny, sparkling crown on her head. Thumbelina married the flower prince and became the queen of the flower kingdom. She was no longer lonely, no longer afraid. She was finally home free, loved, and happy for the rest of her days. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more magical tailies.